Hey guys, got another video for you for the how to do stuff in Japan playlist. This is a bit of a difficult one and I've had it on my list for a long time and I've been putting it off, but it's the different levels thing in Japan and what people call each other. So I mean, most people have heard, Japanese people call each other san, Suzuki-san, for example. But it's of course, being Japan, it's a lot more complex than that. Basically, it's because the social structure in Japan, no two people are on the same level. So in most Western countries, the society tends to be most people are on the same level. Even the boss is sort of, you still call him Bob. Or in Japan, it's not like that. Everybody has a position in relation to everybody else. So one way they use to describe that is that they'll say kohai or senpai, and so they'll say, this is my friend, he's my senpai, which means he's my higher friend or my higher co-worker, or he's higher than me, she's higher than me. This is my kohai, this is my lower friend or my lower co-worker. So everybody has a position in relation to everybody else, and they work that out. Working that out is very complex. They sort of be able to do it naturally, but one way is by age. And quite often when we meet people for the first time here, one of the first things they'll ask us after meeting them is, how old are you? And it's just something that they naturally do to each other. So if I introduce two Japanese friends to each other, they'll say, oh, pleased to meet you. And then one of the first questions they'll say is, how old are you? And they'll find out. And if there's a difference of even a couple of months, that can often mean that one person is senpai, one person is kohai. And there's other things as well. I mean, if someone's worked for a company for 2 years and someone else has worked there for 6 years, the person that's worked there for 6 will usually be senpai, irrelevant of their ages. So it's really complex, as you can see, and depends on who's introduced them and all sorts of stuff. So it's a really, really complex system, but they seem to be able to work it out pretty quick. And then they'll decide what they're going to call the other person. So the most common, of course, is san. So if I introduce Suzuki Yoshi Suzuki to Peter Yamada, they'll work it out pretty quick. They'll often start by calling each other san. The other thing they might do is that they might, if the guy's name is Yoshi Yamada, you listen to his friends, and this friend will call him Yamada-san. If he's a teacher of any description, this guy will call him Yamada Sensei. If he owns a company, the guy might call him Kaicho, because it means owner of a company. Hey Kaicho, excuse me Kaicho. This guy might be a higher friend and might call him Yama-chan, which is quite often what we call kids here. You call them, Yoshi-chan or Harumi-chan, and it's usually for kids, but they'll also do it for lower friends. So they've got san, they've got chan for lower people. Lower is not the way they look at it, but it's the position thing, chan. A friend, kun, so you might call him Yoshi-kun or Yama-kun, and kun means, they use it for friends, usually sort of like on an equal balance. He's Yoshi-kun, he's so-and-so kun. Once again, not exactly even balance, but just for a friend. Sama is the highest, and they'll say kyaku-sama is customer. They were saying here, kyaku-sama wa kami-sama, and kyaku-sama is customer, kami-sama is God, and it means the customer is God. Sama is the highest form of calling somebody. So, and also where we'll have a title in English, so someone will be a manager or someone will be the boss. But we still call them Mr. Jones or Mrs. Jones or Bob or Jane. But in Japan, they'll call them by their title. So the guy that's the manager, they'll call him Tensho or Bucho-san. Or the owner of a company, they'll actually call an owner of something owner. So I stayed at a guest house once, and everybody was calling the owner of the place Owner-san, because he was the owner of the place. So yeah, it's a really complex system, and a video to describe it would probably take years, and I probably don't know enough about it. But that's a bit of an insight into the structure thing here. So when you come here as a foreigner, we don't sort of slot into that level thing very well. They don't quite know where to put us. So you might find that some people will call you Bob-kun or Bob-san. Bob Chan, maybe, Sarah Chan, So yeah, that's what that's all about. And you can, by listening to other people and listening to what people call you, it gives you a bit of an idea of where everybody thinks everybody else slots in. So this is a bit of a funny subject. Most foreigners don't feel comfortable with this subject and feeling like they're on different levels to people, but it's just part of being in Japan. It's just what they do. So you've just got to accept it when you're here and go with it, and just be a little bit careful with it, because obviously with this level thing it's possible to insult people. Probably the safest thing is to call people san, their family name. So if his name's Suzuki Yoshi or Yoshi Suzuki, family name being Suzuki, safer to call him Suzuki-san unless he tells you something different. And if you hear someone else calling him Yoshi-chan or Yoshi-kun, doesn't necessarily mean that it's cool for us to do it. So safest thing, call people san, and yeah, the rest of it's just to watch it and listen. Watch it and see if you can work it out. So anyway, there's something else to think about. More how-to videos coming soon.